Hey, Terry, you heard the governor outline it right there. The $60 billion budget supports children and families. It strengthens our workforce here in Ohio and also makes important investments in our Ohio communities. But among that list, there are a couple of items that are making some major headlines and getting a lot of attention. That includes tax cuts for some Ohioans and funding for a new Cleveland Browns stadium. I want to begin, though, with those tax cuts. In this budget, a 2.75% flat income tax, meaning people who make more than $100,000 a year will no longer have to pay 3.5% in income tax, making them equal to the lower tax bracket. Also approved $600 million for a new football stadium for the Browns. That money will come from the state's unclaimed funds, so things like forgotten utility deposits, refunds that were never claimed, and old bank accounts that were abandoned by Ohioans. But DeWine says it's not just all about the Browns. There was other criteria for that budget item, including benefits for other stadiums across the state, which is why he approved it. Take a listen.
My criteria is it had to be holistic, it had to be universal, but it also would not spend money out of the general fund that directly competes with education, directly competes with mental health. Stadiums should not compete with mental health. Stadiums should not compete with education. And so this budget, while it didn't do it the way I originally designed it, does that. And that was those two things were my first priorities.
Those headlines, DeWine says this budget also prioritizes mental health services, education and literacy, public safety, and the state's natural resources through investments in H2 Ohio. Governor DeWine did, however, veto nearly 70 items in this budget. Our Tom Bosco was with me in that news conference. Tom, he referenced going through each item and deciding if lawmakers were throwing balls or throwing strikes, Tom.
Yeah, you know, the governor's a well-known baseball fan, and he certainly loves his baseball metaphors. He had a lot of calls, a lot of ball and strike calls to make in this budget. In fact, he made 67 vetoes. That's the highest number of vetoes he has made in a state budget since he has become governor. Here are the few things that he tossed out of the budget. Some of the property tax relief issues, including the mandate for tax rollbacks if school districts carry over more than 40% of their budget year to year. DeWine says he agrees there needs to be property tax relief, but said that if all of what lawmakers wanted was instituted, it would be bad for schools. He also nixed the mandate that libraries keep LGBTQ-related material out of public view. I asked him why. He said the language wasn't workable. And he also vetoed a measure that would restrict using food stamps to buy sugary beverages like soda. DeWine says he agrees that they shouldn't be used for that, but he's working on different ways to get that done. So I asked the governor why he vetoed so many pieces of the budget, more than he had vetoed in previous budgets. And in fact, I asked him if that since this is his last budget, if he felt freer to do so.
Oh, I'm probably not going to answer that. It's how it came out. I mean, you know, our team, goes through it, and then I literally sit down, and we sat down for a number of days over the weekend, Friday and all through the weekend, and just went through item by item. And, I'm calling balls and strikes.
State lawmakers could override his vetoes on those line items. We are working to get comment from House and Senate leaders on what their plans are. The governor, meanwhile, for his part regarding vetoes, said we will see what state lawmakers want to do. Live on your side at the Ohio State House, I'm Tom Bosco, ABC 6 News.
Thanks, Tom. We will be updating the story all day long in our news app. Right now, you can read all of the governor's veto messages, and you'll find them when you click on this story.